New York, New York, New York, and welcome to New York. To welcome to New York, Miss. I'm gonna watch your video, even though I don't need to watch your video, and probably nobody else is gonna see this, so I'm just gonna leave this in there. I'm not gonna cut this out. Anyway, it's New York, and on today's shitty price action, we have more shitty price action to bring you. Alright, it's not that bad though. It's not decent, but it's not that bad. 4 hour, you had this internal break of structure here within the bigger range, right? Focused on this internal, we had the IBOS there. Fuck this fan for real, man. Okay, it's off. Okay, we had the 4 hour IBOS. We had a decent pullback, swept this low over here, right? And then immediate bullish momentum comes back in. On the M15, it translates to the M15 having a small break of structure there. And like I said before, where you see it break structure like this, but no momentum to carry it like lower, immediately pulls back, and that's exactly what we've gotten. Huge pullback in, makes me doubt the strength of the swing high here, which is supposed to be a strong swing high, but I would doubt its strength, right? And at this current point in time, focusing on, let's see if we have anything glorious on the 1 hour. We really have all these small iffy zones that should give tiny pullbacks at most, right? So no real price action maybe that could come in and stop you, unlike the 1 hour in terms of pure eyes. So on the M15 minute as well, I wouldn't worry too much about what's in here. Probably would give the reactions more than like a full pullback, maybe just small reaction before the continuation, right? And so just for this session, as always, it's best to probably just follow the internal, right? And the internal as of now is bullish, right? You can still play the bullish plays from preferably much lower in here to target the highs in here. Maybe it's a little bit more dangerous to target past the highs, but from here into here, it could be doable, right? As of now, I'm not happy with this break up here. It's not even a break, it's just a sweep of that, right? So I wouldn't be looking for buys within here, even if you do get valid buys in here. Not the best area, and trying to avoid the lower probability trades, right? So for now, I wouldn't want to follow in here, even though this is like heavy bullish momentum, and probably would want to follow in here, but just because the break up here was not a solid break, for that reason I won't bother following it up. But if we do have it come down, let's say into here for example, then we'd look for the buys, or we have it, for example, come lower like this and then present something like that, and then maybe we'll look to continue with that. But for now, we just have to wait and see what happens. And then we have Mr. Euro Dollar. Mr. Euro Dollar makes 0 moves for how many days now? 8 days from here. We've just been ranging within here. And in the latest news, if ever you want to play ranges, right, it's better to buy when the range is still in here, sell in there, right, basically. So if ever you were to position yourself for buys, you would have to start thinking, okay, I had an IBOS, down here, right? But what happens with the eyeballs that immediately recovers? It's more than likely going to start buying up. But then you have to also consider that whatever is in here in terms of zones, where you would have, let's say this for example, right? This did create a low, so it is somewhat of a strong zone, right? If the market comes into here, are you comfortable still buying against it? Right, discussions like those, maybe wait for this to go, right? Maybe wait for this to go, maybe have a sweep of that, or even better, a close above here, and then look to follow the immediate price action, anticipating that it probably come into the highs of this range, right? If I think that's the idea I would play. Looking at potential POIs, you had it come in here, come down. After the sweep of that, the best potential POI unmitigated would be this one, right? So maybe at this stage, before we tap into this, if ever you are to come into here, maybe it's not so bad looking for buys targeting before this POI, right? That wouldn't be such a bad idea. I think mid level in terms of probabilities, it's a solid idea, but probably better to wait for a confirmation entry as well, which you probably do not get because you could get an LC1 because this creates a low, right? And then this low creates a high, so it would be a valid LC1 waiting for the sweep of that into here on the M5 and then look for buys. We'll monitor that. We have an alert on that. If ever I feel it's good enough in terms of the way it comes back, you don't want to see like a crazy move where it's just like one large candle like this one here for example, and it just comes in there. That's a sign that it maybe might sweep this before it goes up or something like that. But if it trickles down into here, maybe it's a good sign that it comes in and then you look for the buys. But as always, we just monitor and really pay attention once the alert goes off. And GPSD on the M15 as well. We had the mitigation on this 4-hour. Expectations were for this high to now go because we've come into the extreme. But as of now, the market is still a little bit range bound, playing between these internal ranges right here, here and down here. But in terms of good news, we had a very large sweep of this internal low, right? Large sweep, heavy momentum comes in. It's a good sign for the buys. But if ever you want to wait for a little bit more confirmation, which I think is best, you just wait for this to go and then start looking for the buys. USD CAD, it's a bit annoying. USD CAD, GBP USD, you know, where you have like conflicting signals. You have this heavy bullish momentum on USD CAD. Like I said before, these if he breaks like this where it's not really sustained, I wouldn't want to follow the immediate price action. Hence, I did put this POI, but it was just to monitor the POI and not actually execute on it. And you don't have a strong liquidation into here, and because you did have an early entry validation of this candle, so I suspect this probably won't hold, and that would be okay anyway because it's not the best in terms of POI. And rather, I would wait for the M50-minute pullback, which then becomes higher probability with the sweep of this. Yo, and welcome back to the end of the day. And this is not a bloody singing session. Let us get right into it. Somehow I have switched to robot voice. Do 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 do. Maybe I'm just trying to make these more entertaining for you. Because this is the aspiring videos of a YouTuber that nobody watches. Like you start behaving like this where you know you can get away with this bullshit of singing in intros, not editing out some stuff in the videos because you can get away. You can get away with it. This is why I need like a intro. Maybe one day. But today is not that day. Because today is the 8th of May and what we have so far on EuroJPY, right? We had pretty much a sweep of this low right here. They created a highlight, which means it's a significant sweep, but immediate pullback in right into this 4-hour POI we are at right now. So I believe we might get a continuation right on the EuroJPY, seeing as to how it just immediately pulled back with a lot of intent to the upside as well. So looking for continuous bullish plays, I think is the best at this stage, right? So we had London not much, and then it was pretty much just bullish and gone. First take into this 4-hour POI, and then we get a little pullback here, reaction from this. We get a sweep of that into a low probability POI in here. Right, low probability, not looking for anything in there. And the same could have been said for whatever was in here because you had a sweep, right? Sweep of this high, then it's iffy in there, it goes up again, and as clearly it just sweeps the low before it continues a little bit higher. So coming into tomorrow, we don't really expect much of a pullback from this 4-hour zone here because also it's not reacting really from anything. You could say it's reacting from whatever's inside here, probably a 1-hour POI reacting to that, but really not significant. This POI, all it did was basically sweep the slope. Even though we did get a close, came right back up, so not really the strongest POI in my opinion. So for tomorrow, probably just look for continuations, nothing much really in there. Then moving on to Mr. Euro USD, finally we have some movement with a break and close with conviction below the boss, right? Break and close below here, newer changes of trends, right? Switching from bullish to bearish. They typically don't have like crazy pullbacks when they new. So tomorrow, if we do come into this 4-hour POI and then maybe a strong liquidation on the M15, or we get something like this where it comes into here, switches bearish, that's like confirmation for lower, or we get it maybe not even touching there but giving you basically the same thing before touching there. Still be comfortable looking for the sells for Euro USD. There's nothing on the 4-hour to react to the left, right? We have a little bit on the 1-hour with this, so maybe we do get a reaction from this point to facilitate the pullback on the M15, right? Maybe something like that where we see it come down into here and then into this 4-hour, and then we get the sells So we're looking for something like that. Okay, and moving on to GBP USD. On the 4 hour we have this almost head and shoulders pattern. Probably won't take that for granted. Looking at what is happening with Euro USD, it wouldn't be a bad idea to speculate that GBP USD might also just sell off, right? Especially because the reaction from this 4 hour was not sustained and created a new high, which means this low then automatically becomes a little bit weaker, right? So we expect this 4 hour low to go. With that in mind, we do have a 15-minute internal break of structure, but confirmation can only come within the break of the actual swing low. So expectation at this point is a break of this, maybe a slight pullback into here. Not expecting it to pull back very deep into here because it is a new break of structure and it generally doesn't pull back too far. And then we start looking to play the sells. And then we have USD CAD, right? We have USD CAD, which also heavy bullish move today. Reaction from this daily zone finally holds. Then we get a 4 hour internal break of structure, which means we do have an M15-minute break of structure as well. Briefly touched on this, I think, during New York, and as I did say, where we have the iffy breaks and not the sustained break, I do not like entering on this, and lo and behold, experience does what experience does. Maybe you could have gotten away with it, right, if you had your stop loss a little bit bigger than the zone right here, but if not, and the stop loss was exactly here, you would have been taken out of the trade basically, because on sells, like the spread could have taken you out instead of like the take profit and the stop loss. On the stop loss, spread works against you. On the take profit, spread still works against you. It's annoying if you ask me. But in this case, maybe it would have held out depending on your stop loss size, right? You could have had it work out, but personally, I'm okay with that. Not really gonna pick myself up over a zone like this that just, yes, it's with momentum, but I just didn't like the way price formed before coming to it. So yeah, I wouldn't have taken that. I did not take that anyway. I did see it happen, but not comfortable taking that. So, and yeah, that's pretty much it. In terms of expectations for USD CAD, probably moving to this 4 hour, maybe a pullback, and then whatever happens, happens. So at this point in time, we're just playing the waiting game, nothing more. And yeah, that's it for the day. Peace.